So this afternoon I'm out at the Shiloh Wind Farm out in the East Bay of the San Francisco Bay Area. These are the Montezuma Hills, and there's a whole bunch, hundreds of wind turbines out here. So anyways, I brought my 4x5 camera out here with me, and I'm going to get it out of the car. And I think I'm going to walk down the road here a little bit just to give myself some opportunity to frame up a shot with the turbines lined up in a way that looks good to me. I don't want to just strictly just do it from the pull off. I don't know, I don't think I like getting down in this soil like this. I think I liked it better being up on top where I could see more of the rolling hills. I like the way that the sun sort of gives the hills shape. And even though I can't get as close as I'd like to these turbines, I feel like where I parked was maybe the best I'm gonna get. So there's one turbine off in the distance that's not spinning. And since, you know, the shutter speed's gonna reveal some motion blur in all the spinning blades, I don't want that one to stand out. So I'm trying to avoid getting it in the composition. But I don't know. If I want to get a whole bunch of the towers in the shot, it's gonna be in there. And if I don't want to get that one in there, it's just going to be sort of more sparse. I don't know, this over here looks pretty good. I was originally kind of thinking I prefer backlighting, but this doesn't suck. Yeah, now over on the other side of the road here, this too. This is pretty nice. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe where I parked is the best spot after all. I don't want to be lazy about it. I don't want to just shoot right where I found a place to pull off the car. I always want to at least take a minute to sort of scout around and check things out and you know, sort of be intentional about it. That's the whole point. Slow down, take my time, think about it, get my head into it. Yeah. I'm kind of liking this now. I don't know if I could do anything with like the leading line of this road. I kind of like how it sort of disappears and then comes up between the hills over there. Yeah, we're already starting to get some really nice color on these blades. I don't know, man, maybe I want to shoot towards that. Now I'm second guessing myself. That's awfully pretty. I mean, these will be backlit, but I kind of like the color on the towers over here. I'm going to change my plan. Got to make up my mind pretty quick here, though. At this point, the sun sets in like 15 or 20 minutes, and it might effectively set a little bit before that because there's a ridge over that way. All right, come with me. We're taking this show on the road. I can always come back across over here and get a second shot later. All right, I wish you could see this. It's like the most ridiculous janky setup. I've got one of those flexible tripods grabbing onto a ball head on top of another tripod because I didn't have the right mounting gear, but this will have to do for now until I get things sorted out. But I'm going to commit to this plan. I'm going to bring the 4x5 over here, get it set up, frame up something like this. For the time being, I'm going to take a quick look at the viewfinder app. So the viewfinder Mark II app right here, I've got it already sort of preloaded with my, I think I'm going to want to use my 150, I don't know. Do I 90? Do I want that 90? That's so wide. Really like, I mean, I don't know, no zoom lenses on this thing. I gotta decide if I want to go really wide like that and just get a lot of sort of like open land and open sky around the subject, or find a composition tighter in here like this at like 150. Those are the lenses I've got. That's what I've got to work with. I think I'm going to favor this. That's nicer. The turbines are bigger in there, and there's really nothing occluding anything too badly. There's two towers over on the far right that are almost like right on top of each other. Don't love that, but I've been here before trying to mess with this, and you can only do so much. You can't move the towers, and you can only get yourself into so many places. I go a little further over here, and there's a porta potty. I'm just gonna deal. This will be fine. I'll make it work. I'm gonna get the camera. All right, I'm moving over a little bit further, again, because there's a couple of radio towers over there that light up, and I think that'll be kind of cool to have that in the shot. Anything for a little bit of bling, a little bit of contrast. Put some gaffer's tape on the loop so it'll be darker when I look in there. It's hard to show you in there, but you could sort of get, okay, yeah, there's the turbines. You can see that I need to that I'm going to need to shift up a lot because I've got so much foreground, and the turbines are getting cut off at the top, so the front standard here needs to move up. So let me see if I could do this with one hand on holding the camera and one hand manipulating the camera. Here we go. What is that? All right, I'm kind of racing time now, so the sun is right dipping down onto the horizon right now. I got to get this figured out. I got to get my metering figured out. I got to get my exposure. Yeah, those two turbines that are kind of overlapping are at the edge of the frame, but I don't know if I can really get rid of them. I'm always, it's a push and pull. For everything you gain on one side, you make something worse on the other. I don't want to cut off the blades of the big turbine here. That's like the most important thing. No. All right. I've got to make an exposure. I've got to figure this out. This is our spot meter. This is a Pentax spot meter, and it reads in exposure value. If I look at one of the columns, that's exposure value 10. If we look at the grass, that's exposure value 9. Look at the sky, it's exposure value 11. This is a pretty balanced scene. 11, I'm not seeing anything. Like the darkest thing I see if I hunt around is I can find like an 8. Well, I want to make sure that I got good saturation in the sky. So that's 10s, 11s, 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 10s. Yeah, okay. Like, it's all between 8 and 11. That is a very sort of soft scene. It's really about color more than tone. I'm going to use Kodak Portra for this. Here's my little cheat sheet that I look at. So I think I'm going to put the zone 11s in important high detail. So that means I want to expose at, I want my exposure to be 9. It's getting darker all the time, so I might need to sort of make a last minute adjustment, but I'm gonna make my exposure at exposure value 9. I'm rating the Portra, even though it's 160, I'm rating it at 100. So I've got the 100 dialed in right here, and I'm gonna put my exposure value at 9. I put exposure value 9 there, and then this scale between those two tells me all the different reciprocal exposures. So if I want to be at, say, I don't want the turbines to be a total blur. So I think I'm gonna have a pretty shallow depth of field. I'm gonna do, what does this lens go to? My widest aperture on this lens is 5.6. I'm gonna expose at 5.6. That's a really shallow depth of field on this lens, but that's what we're gonna do. So at 5.6, at EV9, that means I'm at 1/15 of a second. And it's changing already, so I'm gonna go to 1/8 of a second. And then I'll probably do a second exposure at 1/4 second because it's just getting dimmer and dimmer every second here. I gotta go slow and easy here, or I'll forget a step and screw this up. I've got to close the shutter. I've got to cock the shutter. My focus was fine before. I haven't messed with that. And I'm just gonna remove the dark slide. And there we go. That's an exposure. So I really liked this one when I first took a look at it. I love that muted palette. I feel like this photograph is actually really faithful to how the scene looked when I was there, and that's kind of what I was hoping to capture. I liked the softness of it. I liked the low contrast of it. I liked the muted colors. I like the composition, although honestly, if I shot it again, I think I'd get rid of the road and try to find a way to frame it up so that road isn't there and I just have meadow, turbines, and sky. Now, the issue I ran into mostly here, well, two things. The whole thing is a little bit soft. I didn't double check my focus. I was feeling a little bit rushed, and maybe if I took a closer look, I could have tweaked it just enough, like make sure that my focus was right on that big main turbine. But also, honestly, like I kind of want the whole thing in focus. Like there's that distant radio tower, and you can see that the little, the lights on it have turned into just out of focus blurs, glowing orbs. That's not what I want. I want this to be a sharp scene. I want it to be soft, but I want it to be sharp. I want it to be soft and muted in the colors and the tonality and the feel, but I don't want the details to be soft. So, learned something here. I don't think I can really get away with shooting landscapes at wide open apertures. I wonder if this would have been better if I could have kept it to 1/8 of a second, but gone to f11. I'd help myself out by shooting faster film stock. Maybe I ditched the Portra 160 in favor of Portra 400. Maybe shoot it just a little bit earlier. I don't know. I'm gonna try this again. Let's go over there across the street where we got some real color now. See how pretty that is? Let's go get that. Okay, this looks really cool. This looks really cool. And my focus is still good. Come on up under this jacket with me. Take a little look at that. You see that? Look how pretty that is. It's kind of hard to show you like this, but viewing the thing on the ground glass under a dark cloth, or in this case a jacket, is really a pretty amazing way to check out your scene. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard to take in the whole thing all at once, but you get used to it. It's really quite a beautiful thing. The brightest parts of the sky are a 13, and the landscape is as dark as an 8 or even a 7. So if 13, that's easy enough. So that means I can put the 13 as important high detail. I'm gonna let the 13 be a zone 8, but I'm also gonna pull back a little bit because I've rated it at ISO 100, and really it's ISO 160. I don't want to blow out those warm oranges on the horizon line. That's like the most important thing here. So maybe I'm gonna have a little bit more restraint. Let's at least just, I'm gonna at least rate it at ISO. I'm gonna put it back at ISO 160. I haven't really tested this that much. I'm gonna meter it at ISO 160. So now it's a 12. Okay, so the sky is at 12 and 2/3, 12 and 1/3. I forgot to look at the little dots next to it. That tells me. So it is as bright as a 13. So yeah, I think I'm gonna hold the sky, and if I lose some of the darker foreground hills, that is what it is. Gosh, it's Yeah, it's pretty contrasty. Really. Gosh, I even saw a 5 in there. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I've got like 8 stops of contrast here. That's a lot. So I need to make a EV10 exposure. So at ISO 160, let's do another faster exposure. We'll do an EV10 at like f5.6, 1/50th of a second. And then for good measure, I'll do another one at 1/25th of a second. These are really gonna be shallow depth of field. I don't know how well that's gonna hold up, but I guess we're gonna find out. All right, so what did I say I was gonna do? I literally can't remember. Oh my God, look at the moon. Holy cow. You gotta see this. I don't know if you can see that, but the moon is coming right up over there. Yeah, I was gonna do 1/50th and then 1/25th. All right, and I can't really go to intermediate shutter speeds. So I'm gonna go to I'm gonna do 1/30th and 1/15th. That's all I can do. I can't, it should be fine. It's getting darker. It's gonna be fine. I'm thinking on the fly here. Blah, blah, blah. Just take a picture. Let's do another portrait. All right. Shutter is closed. f5.6, 1/30th of a second. Test and cock it and take out the dark slide and cock it. There we go. Okay. And then we're going to flip this around. We're going to do 1/15th of a second. At 5.6 again. Pull out the dark slide. Shutter is cocked, and there you go. I was right. That was a really high contrast scene to try to capture in a single exposure on film. 8 stops at dynamic range is a big ask. Given that, I metered pretty well, and the 2 exposures I made were pretty well considered. I knew that I was asking a lot, but you know, my reading of the sky and my reading of the landscape were both pretty well on. The 2 exposures I chose to make, both at f5.6, one at 1/15th of a second, one at 1/8th of a second. Those are good choices. The 1/15th of a second exposure, I think, errs too much on the dark side, and my brighter exposure at 1/8th of a second wound up being better overall. I've got a little bit more detail in the landscape. I'm still holding detail and color in the sky. The blur on the turbine, on the rotors of the turbines looks good to me. I can see some evidence of errors here. Never mind the dust, never mind the little bit of banding on the scans. Adrian at Simple Photography Services here, my friend, does all my processing, all my scanning for me, and he's having a little bit of a firmware issue with his scanner right now. He's troubleshooting that, so the scan's a little bit rough around the edges, but that'll all get corrected. So never mind that. But I'm noticing evidence of a little bit of a light leak at the bottom of the frame in the foreground of the landscape. And on the darker exposure, the vignetting in the corners is really pretty heavy. That can be corrected in some, this is a hybrid process here. I'm shooting on film, I'm editing in digital. I'm having those negatives scanned. I'm converting it to a positive using Negative Lab Pro out of Lightroom. And then I'm taking it into Photoshop for whatever. I'm trying to use a really light touch with that. I mean, if I wanted to go crazy on a digital file, why bother with the film process? A big part of what I'm doing here is trying to create really authentic photography and make that part of my identity as a photographer. Anyways, this is a learning process for me. I've, for a long time, really relied on the immediate feedback of a digital workflow, digital cameras, digital editing, digital everything. I've never had to, for the longest time, I haven't really needed to worry about my exposure because I can see my exposure. A, the cameras meter it really well, and B, as soon as I shoot it, it's right there. I can see a histogram. I know exactly what I got. So like being out in the field and trying to like meter it and nail it is new, and I'm trying to challenge myself. One of the things I've kind of internalized that I've heard is that, you know, it's easy to sort of get in your rut professionally or creatively, and it's easy to just want to stick to doing things that you know you do well. I like that too. I like being good at what I do, and I do those things a lot. But I've also heard that if you don't spend, I don't know, 10% of your time stretching yourself into things that you might suck at a little bit, maybe you're not stretching yourself enough. Maybe you're not pushing yourself enough. So I've tried to internalize that. I feel like it's good advice. And honestly, I like going out there and doing something and not being sure I'm gonna get amazing results. I like the process of learning, and that's what I'm doing here. I'm really tempted to take a picture of the moon. We're here. Let's go see what we can get. I wish I had honestly like a 300 millimeter. A 300 millimeter on this camera would be like a 100 millimeter, or a little bit wider even. But that would be nicer. This isn't ideal, but damn. Let's make an exposure from here. That's so pretty. I think it'll be cool. All right, let's do this thing. Can you see that? There you go. Yeah. Now when the full moon is high in the sky, it's literally like a sunny f/16 exposure, but it's low in the sky. It's filtering through a fair bit of atmosphere right now. Open the shutter. So it's not gonna be a sunny f/16. Let me just check my composition first, using the bubble levels on my cube here to start with a pretty level camera. Let's see. It's really pretty dim, but that looks sharp to me. Okay. Let me see, do I like the balance? A lot of foreground, a lot of sky. I feel like this is pretty good. I feel like I've got like a decent rule of thirds. I got a pretty decent rule of thirds set up there. We'll see. Okay, metering. I'm really gonna I'm gonna be bummed if these don't turn out because the depth of field is too shallow and they're soft, but trying to meter right on the moon, I'm getting like an 8. 6, the turbine is 6, the land is 5. I'm gonna put the moon at zone 7, important high detail. So I need to make an EV6 exposure. Okay, quarter second. We'll do a quarter second, and then maybe we'll do one at half a second. At 5.6. And the moon has moved behind the thing. Damn it. Okay, all right, I gotta move. Be snappy about it this time. Level the camera again. Focus is not gonna have changed. I just need to take a quick look at this. Check my framing. The light is fading so quickly, the moon keeps moving. I keep having to move the camera. I just need to be decisive and go. So I'm gonna do I think I said a quarter second and a half a second. I'm just gonna figure I probably better do a half second. I'm gonna get this in here. Check this one more time. 5.6 at a quarter second. I'm gonna do 5.6 at a quarter second and then a half second. 3, 2, 1. Oops, I got it. See, I'm just going too fast now. I forgot to close the shutter. I forgot to cock the shutter. I forgot to take out the dark slide. All important parts. Okay. Dark slide is out. The moon is about to go behind that stanchion again. 3, 2, 1, and boom. Okay, now let's do a half second. The blades are really gonna have a lot of blur in them at half a second, but let's just see. Boy, it's like so close to the stanchion, I don't really like it there, but I can barely move over any further. I'm gonna frickin' do it. Level. I'm really feeling the rush. Anyway, I think that's pretty much gonna be a wrap for tonight. I'm pretty much out of light. For shooting at 100 speed, this is, it's getting really legit dark out here. But this has been fun. I'm really glad I came out. And you never really know what you're gonna get. I didn't anticipate the moon rising like that. I've forgotten to even pay attention to that. So that was just a serendipity getting out here and having that happen. And I don't know, I never regret going out, even if I get skunked, even if the fog rolls in or the colors don't happen. I never am like, oh man, I wish I hadn't gone out. I always wish I was on my couch. So yeah. Anyway, and I mean, come on, tell me that's not cool. I think this is like one of the legit coolest landscapes anywhere. I know it's man-made, but it's got like a real beauty to it, to me. Okay, when Adrian processed this, he had me come look at it on the drying rack in the dark room and said, "You want me to scan this? Seems really underexposed." I'm like, yeah, forget it. But I don't know, the more I look at the negative, the more I'm kind of curious to see it scanned. You know, I'm gonna convert a negative from an iPhone photo here, see what we can get, maybe do it for real later. It is really dark. Anyway, that's not gonna work. I tried to take a picture with my iPhone and convert it using Negative Lab Pro. That doesn't work. Not even roughly, not even close. So I'm just gonna let that go for now. It's very underexposed. The mistake I made rewatching myself taking the photo is that I was metering the moon to be like 2 stops over zone 5 to put it in like important bright areas. I should have just let the moon go and tried to get something out of everything else, which was so much darker than the moon. Never mind, live and learn. I had a great time out there. Anyways, hope you enjoyed coming along with me for this little learning journey. I hope you weren't here to learn anything from me, like being some kind of like expert. That I'm sorry. Anyways, it's been fun. Gosh, it's so dark I can't even see to turn this thing off.